Rubio labels Iran as the most significant source of instability in the region, emphasizing the need for action. In a joint statement, Rubio and Netanyahu confirm their shared strategy for Gaza and Rubio labels Iran as the most significant source of instability in the region, emphasizing the need for action. In a joint statement, Rubio and Netanyahu confirm their shared strategy for Gaza and focus on Iran, with Netanyahu stating that with U.S. backing, we can complete the task against Iran. Additionally, Rubio insists that Hamas must be completely destroyed, raising skepticism about the Gaza ceasefire agreement. A survey reveals a rise in anti-Semitism and safety concerns among U.S. Jews. Israel receives a delivery of heavy bombs approved by Trump. Reuters reports that 5 Iraqi banks will be prohibited from U.S. dollar transactions, while Iraq's central bank refutes claims of U.S. sanctions on these banks amid differing reports. X contests a German court ruling mandating the sharing of election data. 10 days prior, German non-profits succeeded in a lawsuit against X for public data access. Germany's Habeck criticizes tech oligarch Musk and advocates for a European version of X. Additionally, X is reportedly preventing links to Signal, a secure messaging platform utilized by federal employees,
associated with the sensation of having a dessert stomach. A growing number of gamblers are concerned about developing an addiction, according to recent studies.
Conclave was awarded the title of Best Film at the BAFTAs, while The Brutalist received additional recognition. Both films achieved a total of 4 awards each. Saudi Arabia has entered into a $1 billion agreement with Leonard Blavatnik's sports streaming company. William Byron secured his second consecutive victory at the Daytona 500, following laps taken by Trump. Chinese sex doll manufacturer anticipates increased sales in 2025 due to AI enhancing adult toys user experience. Chinese e-scooter companies Ninebot and Neo incorporate DeepSeek AI for more intelligent rides, while Tencent evaluates DeepSeek to incorporate China's leading AI technology into its Weixin super app. Goldman Sachs notes that China's progress could amplify AI's influence on the global GDP.
China might postpone Tesla's full self-driving approval, while new Model Y deliveries are set to begin. Tesla is preparing for a delay in obtaining its China license amid escalating trade tensions with the Trump administration. Sources indicate that Shine is under investor pressure to reduce its valuation to $30 billion. TikTok is gaining market share in the U.S. from Shine, despite potential risks. A video game designed to last just 1 minute has demonstrated an 80% accuracy rate in diagnosing autism. Research indicates that taking naps in the afternoon can enhance your problem-solving abilities. Theoretical physicists have discovered that quantum systems exhibit arrows of time that are in opposition to each other.
Google's piracy purge. Over 3.5 billion DMCA takedown notices processed in a year. Microsoft plans to eliminate the location history feature from Windows. Chinese AI model DeepSeek is being incorporated into smart TVs. The Skyworth G7F Pro comprehends local dialects and creates multimedia content.
Solar-powered copper nanoflowers facilitate the production of sustainable fuels and chemicals. Filipino scientists find an inexpensive method to create transparent aluminum. A study proposes that particles from Alpha Centauri are already present in our solar system.
Polish Foreign Minister Sikorski declares that Zelensky's idea of a European army is unlikely to occur, stating that the EU will not establish a unified military force despite the Russian threat. UK Prime Minister Starmer proposes deploying British peacekeeping troops to Ukraine. France has been noted for rejecting Russia's re-entry into the G7.
Open-source LLMs are included in Europe's digital sovereignty roadmap. The New York Times has started using AI tools in its newsroom. A Stanford study indicates that large language models have a worrying tendency to flatter users, while older AI models are exhibiting signs of cognitive decline. According to another study,
Authorities have located the leader of the BitConnect cryptocurrency scam in India, and they have successfully seized $190 million. In response to Zelle scams, Chase Bank has decided to block payments to contacts on social media platforms. Additionally, it has been reported that China is actively seeking methods to safeguard data against the potential threats posed by quantum computers. High-ranking officials from Russia and the United States are scheduled to discuss concluding the Ukraine conflict without involving Kyiv. Meanwhile, Ukraine is urging European nations to appoint an envoy for peace negotiations. The U.S. has provided Ukraine with a document to utilize its minerals, yet has proposed minimal compensation in return. According to the New York Times, Putin has consistently sought greater influence in Europe, and Trump might inadvertently facilitate this. It is reported that Trump is insisting Ukraine relinquish control of its ports and oil in exchange for a $500 billion deal. Elon Musk is not in control of Doge and lacks any decision-making power, according to the White House. Trump views psychiatric and weight loss medications as dangers to children. 5 days prior, following Kennedy's confirmation, Trump creates a Make America Healthy Again commission. Gold bullion is flown to New York due to tariffs increasing the price difference with London. Russia asserts that Ukraine possesses a sovereign right to become a member of the EU, yet it opposes Ukraine's accession to NATO. Europe, excluded from US-Russia discussions on Ukraine, is urgently seeking a response, planning a summit in Paris. Additionally, the Abu Dhabi energy company ADNOC has signed a gas deal with India valued at over $7 billion.
Mexican military captures 4,000 kilograms of narcotics in Sinaloa. According to CNN, the CIA is conducting secret drone operations in Mexico to monitor drug cartels. Authorities detain suspected leader of the cult-like Zizian group associated with numerous homicides. China vows to safeguard private enterprises against unlawful inquiries and economic offenses.
Delta jet inverts on a snowy Toronto runway. All 80 passengers and crew survive. Los Angeles Mayor Base admits Africa trip was a complete error following a failed wildfire response. Germany plans to reduce its climate goals.
Aerobic exercise for 30 minutes improves cognitive function in people with ADHD. According to a study, early trial results suggest mRNA vaccines could be effective against pancreatic cancer. Recent research connects the NOVA1 protein to the origins of human language. A greater number of migrants does not necessarily lead to an increase in crime. According to a German institute, Costa Rica plans to accept Central Asian and Indian migrants deported by the United States. In January, the U.S. Border Patrol apprehended 29,000 migrants illegally crossing the Mexico border, marking the lowest figure since May 2020.
Pro-Russian hackers target Italian websites following the president's comparison of Ukraine's invasion to Nazi actions. An expert warns that Donald Trump may have given Vladimir Putin the green light to strike London, Paris, or Brussels. Wang states that China endorses all peace initiatives in Ukraine and that Gaza should not be used as a bargaining chip.
Nike collaborates with Kim Kardashian's shapewear brand, Skims, aiming to expand its reach to more women. Coca-Cola ventures into the fashionable prebiotic soda sector with the launch of Simply Pop. HP plans to acquire portions of the Humane iPin startup from former Apple executives for $116 million. Additionally, all of Humane's AI pins will cease functioning in 10 days, as the $700 iPin is discontinued and rendered obsolete after less than a year.
President Trump has issued an executive order asserting authority over autonomous government agencies. In Cambodia, lawmakers have enacted a new law prohibiting the denial of the Khmer Rouge genocide. Meanwhile, the president of Colombia has claimed that there was a conspiracy to shoot down his aircraft using missiles.
South Africa's minister has declared that the country is open to receiving bids for its nuclear project from any nation, including Russia and Iran. The Brazilian government has decided that Brazil will join the OPEC+ forum. The European Union has imposed new sanctions on Russia. specifically targeting aluminum production and ships associated with the shadow fleet. Trump claims he would have faced a very difficult life had he not won the election. Journalists initiate legal proceedings against the Italian government regarding allegations of spyware. Nationwide Dark Indonesia protests occur as students demonstrate against Prabowo's policies.
Russian wealth fund chief claims U.S. businesses lost $300 billion by exiting Russia, and he praises Trump as a problem solver. The White House has released a video showing immigrants in shackles and humorously referred to the deportation footage as ASMR. Meanwhile, French lawmakers are considering a ban on headscarves in sports, a move that Amnesty International criticizes as discriminatory. Additionally, the BBC has issued an apology and provided further clarification for a Gaza documentary that included the son of a Hamas minister, following significant backlash. Binance US has restarted fiat deposits and withdrawal for the first time in 2 years following the SEC lawsuit. According to Chain Analysis, Iranians are increasingly turning to cryptocurrency due to geopolitical tensions, while international sanctions are impacting Russia's military operations. Ethereum transaction fees have decreased by 70%, reaching their lowest point since 2020. Doge asserts it discovered $4.7 trillion in treasury payments that are untraceable. 6 days prior, Musk stated that individuals aged 150 are receiving Social Security benefits, and Doge claims to save $8 billion on a contract valued at just $8 million. A federal judge has declined to immediately halt Elon Musk and Doge from accessing federal data or conducting worker layoffs, as Judge Chutkan dismisses the request from Democratic AGs for a temporary restraining order to prevent Doge from accessing federal data. An Elon Musk staffer developed a Doge AI assistant aimed at making the government less dumb.
Small earthquakes found deep within Greenland's ice sheet may alter sea level rise forecasts. According to a study, researchers in China create nickelate high-temperature superconductors under normal atmospheric pressure. For the first time, teleportation is accomplished between quantum computers.
Meta's WhatsApp is encountering stricter regulations from the EU, with its user base exceeding 45 million each month. Meanwhile, Niantic, the developer of Pokémon Go, is close to a
Nokia has prepared its cellular network for the moon, as Intuitive Machines finishes the last steps in installing the lunar lander. Meanwhile, Chinese researchers have created an injection designed to extend the lifespan of batteries used in smartphones and electric vehicles. Additionally, Microsoft has introduced the Majorana 1 chip, which is set to revolutionize quantum computing by addressing significant industry-level challenges within a few years rather than decades. This chip is unique in its ability to monitor and manage Majorana particles, rather than the electrons as traditional.
Valve has introduced the Team Fortress 2 SDK, allowing developers to create entirely new games using TF2 as a foundation. Jumbo Cactuar, a card from MTG's Final Fantasy crossover, has been released and is legal for standard play, featuring an impressive 10,000 damage capability. Elon Musk aims to revitalize the gaming industry by establishing an AI gaming development studio.
Shift4, a payments processor, is acquiring Global Blue for $2.5 billion. TikTok has been offered $50 billion by U.S. entrepreneur Reed Rassner to purchase the app. Gabby Petito's parents have expressed their views on the controversial use of AI to recreate her voice in a documentary, with some comments suggesting that Gabby Petito's AI voice recreation in Netflix's documentary feels wrong and unnerves me.
Australia's central bank reduces interest rates for the first time in over 4 years, indicating economic uncertainties. New Zealand's central bank lowers rates by 50 basis points, signaling a more pronounced easing cycle to stimulate the weak economy. The African Development Bank forecasts a growth rate of 4.1% for the continent.
United States. Preliminary data indicate a 16% decrease in homicides in 2024. A UK Paralympian has achieved the historic milestone of becoming the
of King Thutmose II finally being found in Luxor. Additionally, A lost masterpiece by Camille Claudel has been sold for $3.8 million at an auction. Meanwhile, the estate of Michael Jackson is in a legal battle with an auction house over the sale of rare, unreleased music, claiming the sale is a sad attempt to mislead the public. This dispute between the auction house and Jackson's heirs has left the future of 12 previously unreleased tracks by Michael Jackson uncertain.
Continental, a German company, has declared a reduction of 3,000 positions due to difficulties within the industry. Meanwhile, Tesla is making its entry into India by establishing showrooms in both Delhi and Mumbai, and the hiring process has commenced. Additionally, the United States has overtaken China as Germany's largest individual trading partner in the year 2024.
In the United States, housing affordability has become so tight that the conversion of offices into apartments has surged by 484%. Meanwhile, President Donald J. Trump has taken steps to broaden access to in vitro fertilization, IVF. Additionally, the U.S. government has decided to reverse its plan to close down the free COVID test program.
Elon Musk hints at the possibility of distributing Doge dividend checks, which might amount to $5,000 for each household. Meanwhile, Steve Bannon labels Musk as a parasitic illegal immigrant, and a sign expressing disdain for him is displayed in the window of a Tesla dealership. Additionally, a report indicates that approximately 25% of American shoppers have abandoned their preferred stores due to political disagreements, as revealed by a poll. Furthermore, Gallup reports that Donald Trump's job approval rating stands at 45%, while Congress's approval rating has increased to 29%.
Meta is taking legal action against an individual accused of violent extortion for allegedly holding Instagram accounts captive. Additionally, it has been reported that hackers aligned with Russia are focusing on Signal users by distributing QR codes that link devices. Furthermore, a UK MP has issued a warning that Chinese components in smart devices could present a sabotage risk to the country.
In the United States, the State Department has instructed the cancellation of news subscriptions globally. Meanwhile, Commerce Secretary Lutnick has stated that Trump's objective is to eliminate the IRS. Additionally, Trump has remarked that he would have led a very nasty life had he lost the election, and he has suggested distributing 20% of his Doge savings to American citizens.
Russia and the United States are considering collaborating on energy projects in the Arctic following discussions with Saudi Arabia. Denmark is set to increase its defense budget by $17 billion to discourage Russian aggression. The Wall Street Journal has noted that Germany's Alternative for Germany, AfD, party is not aligned with American interests. It has been disclosed that AfD's far-right leader, Alice Weidel, engaged in clandestine meetings with a Chinese envoy. Chinese state media has indicated that support for the AfD is rising as the upcoming election approaches.
In the United States, the head of Social Security has reportedly resigned due to concerns about the access of recipient information by Doge. Additionally, the head of the food division at the FDA is said to have quit, citing the mass staff cuts during the Trump administration. Allegedly, Doge was involved in the dismissal of FDA employees who were reviewing clinical trials for Elon Musk's Neuralink. This situation has been remarked upon as the Trump administration firing thousands for performance without evidence in a chaotic and hasty manner, mirroring a common tactic in corporate America. Google has reached a settlement with Italy, agreeing to pay $340 million to resolve a tax evasion investigation. Meanwhile, ByteDance supporters in the United States assert that China's growth will mitigate any potential damage from a TikTok ban. Additionally, the Wall Street Journal has reported on plans for an AI data center in South Korea, which could have up to 3 gigawatts of power.
OpenAI has launched the SWE Lancer benchmark, which consists of more than 1,400 freelance software engineering tasks sourced from Upwork. These tasks have a total real-world payout value of $1 million. An AI brain decoder is capable of interpreting a person's thoughts using a brief brain scan and minimal training. The AI revolution spearheaded by China's DeepSeek could potentially increase financial sector profits by up to 13%, according to UBS.
In the United States, a severe winter storm has resulted in at least 10 fatalities, with strong winds and heavy snow advancing further east. A study indicates that melting glaciers have contributed to nearly 2 centimeters of sea level rise this century. The Swedish Supreme Court has ruled that Greta Thunberg and other activists are unable to sue the state regarding climate action.
Axios states that conservative radio hosts have been invited to broadcast from the Pentagon. Additionally, 55% of digital magazine circulation is sourced from Spotify-like services. Furthermore, Ampere reveals that streamers will allocate $12.5 billion to sports rights in 2025, with DAZN taking the lead.
Mushroom fiber might shield against the flu. According to research indicates that college graduates enjoy an astonishing 11-year longer lifespan compared to individuals who never complete high school. Researchers report that life expectancy growth has halted throughout Europe, with England experiencing the most significant decline.
Arc Institute's AI model Evo 2 creates the genetic code for all life domains. Microsoft introduces a new generative AI model, Muse, aimed at gaming, potentially bringing back classic games. Researchers discover that Elon Musk's new Grok AI is highly susceptible to hacking.
The Last of Us Season 2 receives an official premiere date. SiriusXM extends its podcast subscription to YouTube and Spotify. Sony releases disturbing texts from an ex-Bungie director to female employees in a continuing wrongful termination lawsuit, highlighting Sony's strong defense against the Bungie veterans' claims.
AMD might prevent Intel's sale because of a cross-licensing agreement. The Cybertruck is the newest Tesla model to achieve a 5-star crash rating. A 3-year investigation reveals that Mackenzie Scott's $19 billion in charitable donations has had a transformational impact on nonprofits. Synthetic diamonds, featuring a hexagonal lattice, surpass natural diamonds in unparalleled hardness. Dogs tend to blink more frequently when they see other dogs blinking, suggesting a social link. In 2024, 2/3 of the Earth's surface recorded extreme heat levels.
Economists predict that China will reduce its benchmark policy rate next month, following the POC's decision to maintain the LPR at its current level. Meanwhile, Hegseth has instructed the Pentagon to identify $50 billion in cuts this year to support Trump's military objectives. Additionally, Australia and Papua New Guinea have committed to finalizing a defense treaty.
Macron's mini-summit highlights EU disputes regarding Trump's actions in Ukraine, and France clarifies it is not preparing to send ground troops to the front in Ukraine. Palantir CEO advocates for tech patriotism and cautions about AI warfare. Kazakhstan and Jordan collaborate on uranium research.
Lloyd's is evaluating the technical abilities of numerous IT employees. Currently, 27% of CFO job postings include AI as a requirement. Meta has revealed LlamaCon, marking its inaugural generative AI developer conference.
And a press conference between Zelensky and Donald Trump's Ukraine envoy is called off at the U.S. request. In the United Kingdom, Farage asserts that Zelensky is not a dictator and advises that Trump should not be taken literally. The Hill suggests that the United States might abandon Ukraine in a manner similar to how France and Britain abandoned Czechoslovakia.
Reuters indicates that Trump's deportation rate was lower than Biden's during his final year in office. CBS attorneys announce plans to request Donald Trump's personal financial details if his 60 Minutes lawsuit advances to the discovery stage. George Clooney criticizes the Biden administration for being poor at explaining our global economy, while Fox claims Clooney acknowledges the media's failure to report on Biden's alleged incapacities.
A Gallup survey reveals that almost 10% of U.S. adults now identify as LGBTQ. Last year, Gallup reported that LGBTQ+ identification in the U.S. had reached 7.6%. An analysis indicates that sepsis rates have risen in Texas following the abortion ban. A Chinese research team has discovered a novel bat coronavirus that may potentially infect humans through the same transmission pathway as COVID-19.
CNN states that Trump aims to eliminate the IRS and substitute it with tariffs. The FTC chair appointed by Trump initiates a significant inquiry into big tech for alleged bullying and censorship. Reuters reports that Trump is attempting to transform Asia's energy supplies by introducing U.S. gas.
Blocking mobile internet on smartphones enhances sustained attention, mental health, and subjective well-being. Physical activity reduces internet addiction among Chinese college students. The sweetener aspartame worsens atherosclerosis by causing insulin-induced inflammation.
Suggesting that all political parties in Germany, including the Greens, are moving towards the right. A study examining TikTok and X For You feeds in Germany reportedly indicates a far-right political bias in anticipation of the federal elections. Meanwhile, Trump hosted an event for Black History Month, although some agencies chose not to participate following an anti-DEI order. Additionally, French far-right leader Bardella canceled a planned speech in the U.S. after Steve Bannon, a former Trump advisor, made a Nazi gesture at CPAC.
Mexico's president has declared that the country will not tolerate any perceived invasion by the United States in the ongoing battle against drug cartels. He has pledged to safeguard Mexico's national sovereignty following the U.S. designation of certain cartels as terrorist organizations. In response to these U.S. actions, Mexico is planning to amend its constitution. Meanwhile, Canada has followed the U.S. example by labeling 7 Latin American criminal groups as terrorist entities. Additionally, the CEO of Rotterdam Port has expressed concerns that the port is the most susceptible to potential U.S. energy tariffs. President Donald J. Trump has issued a directive aimed at preventing the unfair exploitation of American innovation, and he has signed an order to protect American companies from what he describes as overseas extortion.
ESPN intends to incorporate content created by users into its forthcoming flagship streaming service. Marvel has allegedly changed priorities and halted work on 3 television shows, one of which is a Doctor Strange series featuring Wong. Spotify is reportedly aiming to increase the availability of AI-narrated audiobooks on its platform.
The iPhone 15 Pro is set to receive visual intelligence capabilities in an upcoming software update. Additionally, Apple has successfully overturned a blood monitoring patent after appealing the decision. Furthermore, Apple is taking a risk by introducing a new iPhone model, the iPhone 16e, which incorporates AI features at a reduced price.
U.S. senators suggest that Ukraine should automatically become a NATO member if Russia breaches the ceasefire. China's foreign minister states that the country backs the recent consensus reached between the U.S. and Russia regarding the Ukraine conflict. The Kremlin announces that President Putin and China's Xi Jinping will discuss the U.S.-Russia talks conducted in Saudi Arabia.
Felix AI introduces Helix, a comprehensive vision language action model designed for generalist humanoid control, featuring complete upper body functionality and the ability to work with multiple robots. Clone Robotics presents Protoclone, an android without a face that exhibits lifelike motions and can simulate death if pierced. For the first time, Amazon generates more revenue than Walmart. The United States suggests a UN text for Ukraine that does not mention the occupied territories, which diplomats claim. According to Reuters, the U.S. might restrict Ukraine's access to Starlink internet services due to minerals, as stated by sources. President Trump reverses his stance, stating that Russia attacked Ukraine, and he anticipates a mineral deal soon. Reuters indicates that Russia might agree.
As consumer delinquencies increase, U.S. economic growth is becoming more reliant on the wealthy. A month ago, it was reported that a record number of consumers are making only minimum credit card payments, while delinquencies also rise. Additionally, the IRS has prevented a Muscade from accessing taxpayer data. Furthermore, the widow of the Barnes & Noble founder is auctioning her $250 million art collection. A proposed bill in California seeks to officially acknowledge Bigfoot as the state's cryptid, marking a significant move toward its recognition. Meanwhile, Elon Musk has labeled a former commander of the International Space Station as an idiot during a heated discussion about astronauts, and following this altercation, Musk has suggested deorbiting the International Space Station. Additionally, research indicates that the Libra meme coin scandal has resulted in a loss of $251 million in investor wealth. with Argentina's crypto controversy affecting Milei and involving an unusual assortment of individuals.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella acknowledges that AI is currently producing minimal value. He criticizes AGI milestones as nonsensical benchmark hacking, suggesting that AI agents could only manage a Fortune 500 company with a sandboxed assurance. The New York Times notes that AI is driving an evolution, not extinction, for coders. Meta asserts that torrenting pirated books is not illegal without evidence of seeding, and also states that it ensured not to seed any pirated books. OpenAI has taken action by removing users from China and North Korea, who are believed to be involved in harmful activities. Additionally, OpenAI has discovered new Chinese influence campaigns that are utilizing its tools. Meanwhile, in Australia, the Parliament has approved a groundbreaking framework aimed at preventing scams. In the United States, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has established a new unit dedicated to safeguarding investors from fraud in the cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence sectors.
Japan is reportedly looking for Tesla to invest in Nissan, while Foxconn is said to be reaching out to Honda. XPeng, a Chinese electric vehicle manufacturer, plans to expand its global market presence to 60 locations by 2025. According to the CEO. The U.S. government is reportedly removing electric vehicle chargers from all federal buildings, citing them as not mission-critical.
Philippines removed from FATF gray list as Laos, Nepal added to watch list. Ghost ransomware has hit firms in over 70 countries, FBI and CISA warn. Bybit hit by crypto's worst hack with almost $1.5 billion stolen.
A justice from Brazil's Supreme Court has issued a nationwide suspension order for Rumble, citing alleged non-compliance with regulations. Meanwhile, Apple is in the process of removing iCloud's end-to-end encryption features in the United Kingdom, following pressure from the government to include backdoors. Additionally, a significant collection of leaked chat logs from the Blockbuster ransomware group has been revealed, shedding light on the gang's main members and the victims they have targeted.
Microsoft has introduced a new AI agent capable of managing software and robots. Meanwhile, AI startup DeepSeek plans to release 5 code repositories next week to promote full transparency. Additionally, AI has successfully addressed a superbug issue in just 2 days, a task that previously took scientists years to accomplish.
NASA's Webb telescope displays quick light show from Milky Way's central black hole. South Sudan shuts schools for 2 weeks due to heat wave. New York Times notes, lacking support from Egypt or Jordan, Trump seems to retreat from his Gaza plan. Trump recently mentions he hasn't reviewed Egypt's response to his Gaza plan.
Tim Cook allegedly informs Trump that Apple plans to invest hundreds of billions in the United States, expressing a desire to avoid tariffs. Japan cautions about the potential impact of China's export controls on chip materials. It is reportedly stated that Trump's tariffs aim at $29.3 billion worth of EU steel and aluminium.
AI tool transforms infection diagnosis through immune cell gene sequence analysis. Study reveals AI may cheat when it predicts defeat. Reportedly, disgruntled workers leverage AI to flood businesses with employment lawsuits.
The surprising shape of the lead-208 nucleus leads to a reassessment of atomic nuclei models. In cylindrical systems, structured light self-imaging reveals a novel space-time duality. Researchers use deep neural networks to locate the hard-to-find liquid-liquid transition point. Additionally, Bloomberg has made remarks about Apple's decision to exit the budget smartphone market with the upcoming iPhone 16e.
Divorce can be anticipated through the interplay of cultural and personal values, according to a study. The study associates obstacles to divorce and reproductive healthcare with increased rates of pregnancy-related homicide. Research indicates that air pollution impairs individuals' concentration on daily activities.
A novel evolutionary scenario characterized by significant gene loss and expansion has been identified. The announcement of the world's first two-way adaptive brain-computer interface, titled a memristor-based adaptive neuromorphic decoder for brain-computer interfaces, has been made. Science magazine has reported the visible light triggered depolymerization of commercial polymethacrylates.
Doubts. The SEC concludes its examination of OpenSea, choosing not to file charges regarding the NFT marketplace's conduct.
Germany's conservative parties are poised to lead the upcoming coalition government, while the far-right AfD party experiences a significant rise in support. Voter participation in the crucial German election increased to 83%. Friedrich Merz, a prominent German politician, expresses a desire for greater independence from the United States and voices concerns about the future of NATO. The Telegraph offers commentary, suggesting that Germany is facing its most dreaded scenario, transforming into France. Meanwhile, in the UK, car signal jammers are responsible for a rise in vehicle thefts and will soon be outlawed.
Neon Genesis Evangelion extended reality game in the works for 2026. After a decade, the Pokémon Company has finally gotten an apology and $15 million in damages for mobile Pokémon clone. Avatar sequel series 7 Havens ordered at Nickelodeon, set after Legend of Korra.
Zelensky denies Ukraine's $500 billion debt to the U.S. Ukraine claims North Korea supplies 50% of Russia's ammunition. Russian official reportedly discusses defense in Indonesia and Malaysia.
Trump discusses the possibility of a third term, raising fears of a constitutional crisis, while Mullen claims Trump was merely joking about it. Bangladeshi students, who previously forced the resignation of former Prime Minister Hasina, are preparing to establish a political party. The Cook Islands has revealed a significant deep-sea minerals agreement with China.
P deliberately caused customers to wait on hold for 15 minutes for phone support, but swiftly terminated this practice following criticism. Mozilla Foundation reveals its transition towards privacy-centric advertising and AI services as long-standing Mitchell Baker resigns. Aston Martin Aramco introduces the AMR25, its latest contender for the 2025 FIA Formula One World Championship.
Greenpeace is confronted with a lawsuit demanding $300 million due to its involvement in the Dakota Access Pipeline protests, and the organization claims that this legal action from a pipeline company could jeopardize its existence. Clinton asserts that Putin made the decision to sacrifice the crew of the Kursk submarine to safeguard confidential information. A comprehensive map reveals that over 10,000 First Nations individuals lost their lives during Australia's frontier conflicts.
U.S. Space Force shares its first view of the X-37B spaceplane in orbit. U.S. Space Force shares its first view of the X-37B spaceplane in orbit. The Blue Ghost moonlander receives a GPS signal from 205,000 miles away, establishing a distance record, and demonstrates that Earth-orbiting GPS-like satellites can be utilized to track locations from the moon. A NASA supercomputer uncovers an unusual spiral structure located at the edge of our solar system.
Apple plans to construct artificial intelligence servers in Houston. Apple plans to construct artificial intelligence servers in Houston and commit $500 billion to investments in the United States. The company will also establish a 23,200 square meter facility in Texas. Meanwhile, Bird, a Dutch software firm, intends to exit Europe because of stringent AI regulations, according to its CEO. Additionally, OpenAI co-founder Ilya Sutskever's startup is raising funds with a valuation exceeding $30 billion, prompting the Financial Times to remark, pre-product AI company, now valued at $30 billion.
$1 billion investment in Italy, according to Maloney. JP Morgan Chase allocates $50 billion for a direct lending and private credit initiative. Saudi Arabia introduces new currency symbol to enhance financial reputation. The shortage of Novo Nordisk's Wegovy and Ozempic medications in the United States has been addressed, according to the FDA. The Cato Institute has declared that surrogacy has emerged as the latest focal point in the ongoing struggle for reproductive freedom. Additionally, an inventor has secured a patent for horse blinders designed for individuals with ADHD. The Yankees have decided to stop playing Frank Sinatra's New York following defeats. Shaun White's new snowboard league is set to visit Aspen and a mountain in China, marking the location where he concluded his career. King Kohli has achieved the record of being the fastest batter to accumulate 14,000 runs in ODI cricket.
Apple designer Susan Kare introduces her NFT escape keys to Asprey Studio, crafting a collection of iconic keys and jewelry. Chinese television formats are targeting global expansion, as disclosed by industry leaders at MIP London. Major League Baseball and ESPN are terminating their agreement after the 2025 season, with the league citing insufficient coverage. Wiley Journal has withdrawn 26 articles due to issues with the peer review process being compromised. Kim Kardashian is facing a lawsuit after incorrectly identifying a New York man as a death row inmate from Texas on her Instagram account. The New York Times has published an article discussing how human therapists are gearing up to confront artificial intelligence that is attempting to mimic their roles.
Fossil tour guide finds enormous purple dinosaur footprint on a UK beach. Larger animals face increased cancer risk, yet they have developed superior defenses. Amazing find reveals mice attempting to resuscitate fallen companions.
Gmail plans to transition from SMS authentication to using QR codes. Microsoft is experimenting with offering free Office for Windows applications that include advertisements. Dow Jones has broadened its AI marketplace to encompass almost 5,000 publishers.
Netanyahu declares that Israel will not permit Syrian military presence in areas located south of Damascus. A prominent Hamas leader expresses regret, stating he would not have supported the attacks on October 7 if he had foreseen the severe repercussions for Gaza. In an AI-generated video, Trump outlines his Trump Gaza vision, emphasizing the elimination of tunnels and the eradication of fear.
The United States casts its vote alongside Russia, North Korea, and Belarus against a United Nations resolution concerning the Ukraine war. Conversely, the UN dismisses a U.S. resolution that calls for an end to the conflict without acknowledging Russian aggression. Meanwhile, President Putin emphasizes the importance of Europe in discussions about Ukraine, but indicates that a resolution remains far off. In Washington, former President Trump and French President Macron meet, with Europe urging ongoing support for Ukraine. Reportedly, Macron advises Trump to exercise caution during negotiations aimed at concluding Russia's war in Ukraine.
Warner Brothers has decided to shut down Monolith Productions and the studio responsible for Multiversus, and has also cancelled the Wonder Woman game. In other news, Call of Duty has acknowledged the use of generative AI to assist in the creation of certain in-game assets, which explains the subpar quality of some calling cards. Meanwhile, Ubisoft has issued an apology for promotional material related to Assassin's Creed Shadows that has raised concerns within the Japanese community, assuring that the RPG will continue to evolve until its release.
Bybit CEO confirms closing ETH gap, exchange back to 100% reserves after record $1.5 billion hack. North Korean hackers steal record $1.5 billion in single crypto hack, security firm says. OKX pleads guilty to violating U.S. anti-money laundering laws and agrees to pay penalties totaling more than $500 million. China advisor advocates reducing the legal marriage age to 18 to increase the birth rate. Iraq's first census in nearly 40 years recorded 46.1 million people. South Korea's birth rate increases for the first time in 9 years, with a rise in marriages.
Right-to-repair laws have now been introduced in all 50 U.S. states. Trump orders investigation into possible tariffs on copper. In the U.S., ISPs fear wave of state laws after New York's $15 broadband mandate. Research indicates that the incidence of cardiac arrest among athletes remained unchanged throughout the pandemic period. Another study reveals that the process of brewing tea has the capability to eliminate heavy metals present in water. Additionally, it has been discovered that natural antioxidants found in various foods might potentially mitigate the reproductive damage caused by microplastics.
Trump reportedly cancels order on rights abuses linked to U.S. supplied weapons. Iran displays new weapons made domestically during military exercise. Keir Starmer plans to increase UK's defence budget to 2.5% of GDP by £13 billion, reducing international aid, to confront figures like Putin before meeting Donald Trump.
UN nature talks, which have been delayed, are set to resume in Rome for a 3-day intensive session. A newly approved tartan design honors individuals persecuted under Scotland's Witchcraft Act. According to Bloomberg, Apple plans to continue its diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives, despite some potential modifications, as shareholders vote against a proposal to eliminate the DEI program.
Trump's approval rating stands at 52% following his initial month in office. An AI-generated video depicting Trump engaging in an inappropriate act with Musk was controversially displayed on government office televisions. Musk has committed to addressing issues with X after surveys indicated strong backing for Ukraine's President Zelensky.
DBS CEO anticipates reducing 4,000 temporary positions as AI takes over certain roles. Chegg initiates legal action against Google, alleging that its AI search tool impedes user traffic. A group of 1,000 artists launches a silent album to demonstrate against the UK's copyright concessions to AI. The U.S. economy is increasingly reliant on wealthy individuals, with households earning $250,000 or more playing a significant role. Meanwhile, 21 DOGE staff members have resigned, expressing their refusal to assist in the dismantling of public services. The Atlantic has recently noted that DOGE possesses God mode access to government data. Additionally, SCMP reported that China's advancements in high tech are altering global politics, prompting the U.S. and its allies to form a balancing coalition, according to a study. Viral fake videos depict Trump kissing Musk's feet following a HUD TV protest, where an AI-generated video reportedly showed Trump kissing Elon Musk's feet in the HUD building. A Russian court fined the son of an oligarch more than all the money in the world on Twitch. Documents reveal that Sakharov smuggled his Nobel Prize speech to Oslo using an embassy ploy, 50 years later. Rover recently discovered evidence of vacation-style beaches on Mars. Additionally, the Curiosity rover has spotted ancient water ripples on Mars, suggesting a history of shallow, ice-free lakes. In the Planetary Parade 2025, a rare 7-planet alignment will occur on February 28, an event not expected again until 2040. Furthermore, China is constructing a space telescope to compete with the JWST, which may have a longer lifespan in orbit.
Apple announces it is addressing an iPhone dictation issue where the word Trump is mistakenly recognized instead of racist. Google has been unsuccessful in its legal battle regarding Android Auto Access, which could have negative implications for major tech companies. Denmark plans to prohibit mobile phones in educational institutions and after-school activities. Google provides the Gemini AI coding tool at no cost, featuring a capacity that is almost limitless. Perplexity introduces Comet, a web browser driven by AI with agentic capabilities. Meta is exploring an AI data center initiative that might have a price tag of $200 billion.
George R.R. Martin has indicated that a movie adaptation of Elden Ring might be possible. The sequel to Leaving Neverland, titled Surviving Michael Jackson, is set to debut on YouTube in the United States.
ProPublica notes that while Facebook is moving away from fact-checking, it is also providing incentives for content that goes viral. A U.S. judge has ruled that Trump Media and Rumble are not required to comply with a Brazilian order they consider to be censorship. Reason argues that the FTC should not attempt to ensure that social media platforms are fair.
Trump suggests a $5 million gold card for obtaining U.S. citizenship. According to a poll, 71% of Trump voters are against cuts to Medicaid. A Canadian petition seeking to revoke Elon Musk's citizenship has collected over 250,000 signatures.
The Indian technology sector is expected to grow significantly in the fiscal year 2025, surpassing $300 billion in the fiscal year 2026, according to NASSCOM. Meanwhile, Meta is required to address a lawsuit alleging it favors less expensive foreign workers. Additionally, DOGE is reportedly utilizing artificial intelligence to evaluate the responses of federal employees who were instructed to justify their positions via email, and it is working on software that automates the termination of government workers.
The fire crisis has spread from Los Angeles to Latin America, affecting countries from Mexico to Argentina. In particular, Argentinian Patagonia is experiencing its most severe forest fires in the past 30 years. Meanwhile, BP is anticipated to abandon its renewables target as it reorients towards fossil fuels. Additionally, U.S. officials have been missing from international climate